Hari Om, everybody. We have 2 more minutes to start the opening prayers. We decided we will meet 5 minutes before time just to accommodate the opening and when we finish, the closing prayers. It is 6:55. We'll start with opening prayers. Om Tri Om Sahana Vavatu Guru Stotram and Gita Dhyanam, first and the last sloka. Om Sahana Vavadu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhidamastu ma vidyushavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Stotra. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalagaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkinjis Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Chinmayam Vyabhiyas Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव. गीताध्यानम्. ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ततामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुद स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवै वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुर्सुरासुरगणाः. देवाय तस्मै नमः. देवाय तस्मै नमः. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः. ओम श्री सरस्वती नमः. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम everybody. Pranams and namaskaram. Today we are continuing where we stopped the last class. In the last class, very important verse was taken. Na sato vidyate bhavaha na abhavaha vidyate sada. Ubhayorabi dishtondas tvanayo tattvadarshibhi. This sloka, philosophically, especially in Vedanta, real and unreal is explained many places. And Viveka of that is considered as Viveki a Pandit. And we very deeply explained, also quoting from Sadarshanam, first slogan, Satpratyaya kimnu vihaya santam Ridvesha jintab rahido gatabhi. In this one, existence principle is elaborately explained. We are not going to that because we already did this. And where we stopped was that we explained what is Sadbuddhi, Asadbuddhi. We learned so many new terms in this one. Samana Adhikarana, which has the same locus point of thoughts. And this we explained a scenario where Shankaracharya asked Astamalaya, Kastam shisho kasya kudosi gantaha kim namate tum kuda agadosi edan mayoktam kuda charmakaptvam mat priyat yodo pridi vivardhanosi. This one, what means is, who are you? Whose child are you? Where are you heading? What is your name? All the details in one question. So one sloka, every question is asked. Astamalaga said, there we stopped the last class. What Astamalaga said is, Naham manushyo nachadeva yakshavu na brahmana kshatriya vaishya shudraha na brahmachari na grihi vanasto bushturna chaham nijabodha rupaha. I am neither man nor God nor yaksha no brahmin kshatriya vaishya chadurvarnyam maya srishtam. Bhagavan said that all the varnas I am not. That's what he says. Also, I am not brahmachari. I am not neither householder or nor a sannyasi. Everything is covered in this one. Either you are brahmachari or grahastha or sannyasi. So I am neither of all this. And what I am? He said, Vishnu chaham naja nija bodha rupa. I am not Vishnu, but I am pure awareness alone. I am. And as soon as Shankaracharya heard this answer, he said, he is the person I'm looking for. Come with me. Come. And the rest, the story is history. You know Astamala story. And he joined Shankaracharya. How it's relates here? Bhagavan says, this body also we take up, then what we do? We drop. You drop this body also. Oh, this is me. This is not my real identity. This is assumed identity. This is temporary identity. We have fallen in love with this assumed identity. Shankaracharya says, we are so much in love, which fond of this I, this false I, which we created. No matter how many times we have been told that, even Swamiji says every lecture of Swamiji says, not only Swamiji, every Swami or Pandit, or in every religion, every speech they give, discourse they give, pravachan they give, it is clearly they say, we are not this body, we are not this body, we are not this body. No matter how many times they tell in any local language. So many Mahatmas are there. They all say, we are Sad Brahma, you are that, you are not this body, you are infinitude, you are not this finite, you are not limited. But even they say this so many times. We say, oh, that's okay. But it may be for some time when he says it's sometimes even it doesn't stick to even 1 minute. When you get up and we are back into the daily routines of whatever we are. What they say is, do your daily karmas. Don't worry. You have to have Deha Bhavana at least for doing that karma. Will tell how long that will last. Every karma we do, we have to have that. I'm doing this with the body. But then through every karma, through every action, you remember that I am not the body. I per se, the I, which I say all the time, I is not the one which what I think is. And this easiness, this sat darshana, this thing, sat buddhi, is there, but the body is when the body destroys, what happens? In chapter 2, towards in the middle, towards the end, it says what is death. Clearly it says what is death. Well, death is for what? Death is for the body, not for the Atma. And that is coming in the next sloka. Supposing the example is given, the pot. The pot is there. The easiness is the pot. If the easiness is not there, it's the pot, and the pot is supposed destroyed, broken into pieces. There is no pot now. We finished. So the question is, where is this Sadbuddhi? Where is it? But the essence is not destroyed. The answer is no. The Sadbuddhi is there. Pot is not there, understood, but that easiness still in the mud, which created the pot. So the Sadbuddhi, if you have now, is attribute. It's a Visheshana to express itself. The pot is a conditioning, and the easiness is the conditioned existence. So we have conditioning and the conditioned. Don't get dragged by the words. You heard this conditioned and similarly they have conditioned consciousness, and we are Here we are analyzing existence, Sat. So there are three things. What are the things? Conditioning, conditioned, and unconditioned existence. Now, there are so many words to get you confused, but don't get confused, because in Vyavahara we have to use these words. In Vyavahara, sometimes we say that exists. Exists what? Based on conditioning only, we say exist. We use the term in its existence. That's why the existence principle, Sat Pratyaya Kim Vihaya Santam Riddesha Chinta Rehito Hridab. Without that existence principle, where he can have existence? That's what he's asking. So the Visheshana, attribute, a qualifier is needed, or a adjective. That cup is destroyed, is not available for transaction now, is finished. We say Visheshana is not available for expression. But the Sat is there. Visheshana and Visheshya, adjective and substantive. That's two things. So with conditioning, there is conditioned existence. With the conditioning is not there, we cannot use that expression, conditioned existence, because conditioning is not there. So we feel that there is no existence. When the pot is destroyed, we feel that, that's gone. It is, in essence, Bhagavan says, it is not gone. It is in another shape. And that is the same thing which is come in the coming verse telling. That's why this is an introduction to the coming verse. The shape, the pot shape is not there. When we die, what happens? That body shape is not there. Agreed. But the essence, what it is expressing through that object or through that shape is not destroyed. It's still there. That's what he says. Vedavasi decided that there is a story behind this sloka. Is one of these difficult slokas to understand why it is. There is a story explained. Bhagavan Vedavasi decided to write Mahabharata. Now, who will write? He knows the topic. So he went to Brahmaji. Brahmaji told, he did pranam, and he said, Brahmaji said, Vedavasi said, I want someone to write this Mahabharata. Then Brahmaji said, I will tell you a name who is the appropriate person to write this. It's Ganeshi. Do Ganesha, ask Ganesha. He is the best person to write this Mahabharata. So he agreed and he invoked Ganesha. He did prayer, Sudhi. It is not that you go to Ganesha's, wherever Ganesh is sitting. You can invoke God or goddess right there and there, because he is Brahmanishta. So he invoked Ganesha, and in Dhyanam, Ganesha came. Ganesha appeared and he did namaskar again, pranam, and he requested, this is my request, you should write Mahabharata. So Ganesh, he smiled and said, yes, I will write, but one condition. What is the condition? The condition is you cannot stop. Means even for a break, a little bit time of, no, continuous. Vedavasi said, oh, that's very nice. Continuous meaning non-breaking, no break for tea, no break for coffee, no break for anything. Just continuously repeat. Vedavasi said, yes, I will continuously chant or repeat this story, and he can complete it. But then Vedavasi said another condition. Okay, I also have a condition. So Ganesh asked, what is that condition? Please express. Vedavasi said, whatever I say, you should understand the meaning. Then only start writing. That's very good. He is one of the brilliant of person, Ganeshji, he should think. So, know whatever he says, he should understand the meaning and then write. Okay. Oh, the Ganeshji waited a minute. Okay, he said, okay, I agree. So, what happened was, whenever, see, Vedavyasji is Manushya Rupa in human form, Ganeshji is Devata. Devatas have different ways of doing things. They don't have hunger, no thirst, getting old, Jara, Nara, all this does not affect Devatas. Because their combination of this Panchamahabhuta they made is different. That is why when they come to earth, they don't touch the ground. It is said in Shastras, when Devadas walk on the ground in earth, they walk above the ground without touching because they are lighter in the body. Their construction itself is different. Anyway, we are not getting to that point. But he said, I understand, then I'll write. So what happened? Even when he wanted this, Vedavyasji felt thirsty or hunger or anything, he wanted to take a break or something, he gave very difficult slokas. Nasado Vidyate Bhavaha is one of them. Karmanya, Akarmanya Pashed. In karma, you see akarmana, that is also you have to think. Those verses are coming. We'll spend a little more time on those verses. Also, Yanisha Sarva Bhudanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. Oh, that is also little deep thinking. You have to understand the real implication of that meaning of that word, the sloka. So in this way, what happened? Difficult verses were given in between. So Ganeshji started thinking. So in their thinking, he went and took a break, eating or drinking or whatever. This is a story. If everything is, so coming back to the subject, if everything is destroyed, then what? Then what happened to the total universe? Oh, everything is gone? No, the Sat is there. Upanishad says, who knows it is destroyed? There should be some knower who is knowing the event. The event is destroyed. Destroying is the event. And who will know this destroyed event? There has to be something Sat to understand. You remember the last time I told the helicopter example? That helicopter example is very good because you have to be out of the change to know the change. So there has to be some entity outside this change. That is called Sat. Sat and Asat, we had a differentiation, very deep discussion in the last class. In Chandogya Upanishad says, Sadeva Idam Saugya Asid, Karmede Veda Adidiyam. It says that, this, hey Saumya, before this world, Idam Agra Asid, Ekam Eva Adidiyam. Agra Asid. This is the first of the mankind. Before this world emerged, there was only existence, one without a second. There was no other thing other than that, and that is Brahman. That Brahman came from existence. The world was manifest only and from existence only. But there are some group of people in chapter 2, book 162, I think, page 162, there is a graph of different beliefs, schools of thoughts. And in that, all these 10 darshanas are explained. And some of them, they believe that the entire world came from non-existence. Gurudev says, something out of nothing can come. It's an absurd idea. It is not an idea which is intellectually appreciated. It cannot appreciate that idea. How can something come from nothing? It is not possible at all. It must have come from something. Every effect has a cause. So if there is a tree somewhere, somebody say, if there is a tree, there must be a seed. Clearly understood. Only from a seed, a tree can come. So whether it was a seed by seen anybody or not, it is clearly understood there should be one seed sprouting from the seed, only the tree can come. So Upanishad suggesting that when it says that before the world, the Magram Asid, there was existence. The existence principle was there, existence was there. Ekam eva advidiyam. Only one without a second was existing. And that is Advaita Vedanta philosophy founded upon that. There is existence. From existence came all this, sprouted all this. The word means existence. The Vedanta scriptures describe the existence as state of being or something. That's correct. That all pervasive, beyond speech, and without form. It is consciousness alone. And some philosophers maintain, however, that before the world originated, Buddha and Nayayika, there's a group called Nayayika and Buddhist, they believe that the world came from nothing. Shunyam eva. So in this way, different philosophies came up about existence and non-existence. In fact, concept of non-existence is introduced here because it is a stronger foundation of existence. Why non-existence is explained so deeply when we are discussing existence? Only existence should be discussed, right? No. But non-existence was described because to have an understanding, if you explain darkness very well, if you understand darkness very well, then only you appreciate the value of light. If you understand what is ignorance, then only you appreciate the value of knowledge. In the contrast, to explain that one, only we explain non-existence. Otherwise, we don't need non-existence because existence alone is enough. So it's clear that it is meant by existence. Concept of non-existence was added only to make you understand clearly the distinction between existence and non-existence. With that introduction, we'll do 17th verse. Okay. Avinachitu tat vidhi yena sarvamidam tadam vinashamavyyasyasya na kaschit kattumarhati. Avinashi, Vinashi, destructible. Avinashi, indestructible. Opposite. Tat, that, vidhi, you know, yena, by which, by whom. Sarvam idam, tatam, is all provided. Vinasham, nasham, destruction. Vinasham, again destruction. Visheshena nasham. Whenever we add V in Sanskrit, this is Visheshena. Nasham. Vinasham. Know that to be indestructible, by which all this is provided. No one can cause destruction of that. The imperishable. The absolute Brahman nature attribute is described in this one verse. Avinashi. Yeah. The two shabda here is for separating Sat from Asat. How many things Bhagavan talked about in the last verse? Sloka 16. How many things? Two things. Sat and Asat. Out of the two, one is described in 17. Which is that? Sat only. Asat we are not going to talk about because there is nothing much to talk about. Asat was told to make you understand what is Sat. That's all. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam. Vinasham, indestructible. See, by which are this all provided by only one thing. And that attribute is said in this sloka. Vinasha, destruction, can happen in 6 ways. Which are the 6 ways? 6 ways one thing can be destroyed or made nothing or whatever. What are the 6 ways? Those who are making it out? Make a note. 1. Shotanashaha, self-destruction. Number 2, Paratanashaha, by another. Number 3, Ashraya Nasha. Ashraya Nasha meaning dependency Nasha. Number 4, Sambandhi Nasha. In relation, it is attached to something. You remove that. We'll go in detail each of them. Karana Nasha. Karana Nasha meaning cause. You know the cause and effect relationship. There are 3 laws of cause and effect. We'll talk about that little bit so you understand what is cause and effect. Then 6th is Karyanasha. So Karya and Karana, cause and effect. I will tell you 1 minute in all the 3, and you'll clearly understand what are the 3 cause and effect. Everything has a cause. Every effect has a cause. In other words, you can say it's the same thing. In other words, there is no effect without a cause. Same meaning. In other words, puts words together. There is no effect without a cause. Rule number 1, very easy to remember. Even atheists who doesn't believe God will agree to this because everything has a cause. They agree. Yes, they agree that. Okay. Number 2. Number 2 is every effect is cause in a different form. Every effect you see is cause in a different form or shape. Form and shape, same thing. And number 3, which is number 3? E minus C equal to 0. What is E minus C? Effect minus cause equal to 0. Every effect, you take the effect and remove the cause, 0 remains. And these 3 laws, I know you must have forgotten. I know you will not remember, but one way easy to remember is take an example. What is the example? Take a gold bangle. A gold bangle is in my hand. Okay, agreed. This is pure gold, 24 karat. I know 24 karat you cannot make ornament, but just for this example purpose, you are taking a gold ornament in my hand and there is only gold, there is nothing else. Okay, apply all the 3 laws of cause and effect to this bangle and I will show you how to remember those. What is the rule number 1? Every effect has a cause. That's easy to remember. There is no effect without a cause. Okay, so this is an effect. Agree? This bangle is an effect. Effect, the cause is gold. We know that from gold, this gold bangle was made. Now, that rule number 1 applied. Every effect, there are so many effects of gold. What is the effect? Earring, nose ring, wedding ring, and Swamiji called as suffering, wedding ring, anything which is made of gold is gold ornaments, all the effects. So from the cause, the effects came. Okay, agreed. Number 1. Number 2, apply number 2 here. What is number 2 rule? Every effect is cause in different form. Oh, what is the cause? The cause of the bangle is gold. Gold in a different shape is bangle. Oh, I agree that. Understood. Gold in different shape is earring. Gold in different shape is necklace. So every ornament is different shapes of the cause. Cause in different form. Every effect is nothing but cause in different form. Understood. 1 and 2 understood. One more time. 1 and 2. 1, every effect has a cause. Every effect has a cause. This bangle has a cause. Gold. Understood. Gold in different form. All the effects are nothing but cause in different form. Agreed. Rule number 3, E minus C equal to 0. Let us see, apply that to the bangle. Okay, bangle is effect. From the bangle, remove the cause, E minus C. Remove the cause. The cause is gold. Remove all the gold. There is no copper. I told you this beginning itself. This is fully pure gold. There is no other mix. So remove the gold. What happens? 0 remains. Nothing remains. Now apply that to this entire world, this Jagat, this universe. Think. Entire universe is an effect of the cause. What cause? There is no cause. Cause. We say cause is Brahman. In absolute sense, Brahman is not the cause. We'll discuss that later. Because cause is only in relationship with the effect. Okay. Now, the entire universe which you see is nothing but is an effect. Effect of what? Effect of the cause. Yeah, Supreme Brahman, the reality. And now, rule number 2. What is rule number 2? All the effects are nothing but cause in different form. These different equipments, inert and sentient and insentient objects, people and everything, whatever you see, is nothing but the cause in different form. That means that cause is present in every individual. That's why they say Bhagavan is in every jiva. Understood? Rule number 2. Now rule number 3, applied to this universe. Entire world has effect. From the effect, remove the cause. Remove the cause, nothing remains. Mar gaya. That's what we call it's a dead body. Is gone. That Sat Vastu in each individual is the one which makes us conscious, which makes us do whatever we want, which makes us the mind think, body to act, intellect to think, and do decide things. All this is done by that one Sat Vastu in individual. And from that is gone, 0 remains, everything. Now, this Nasha, 6 types of destruction, Sotanasha, Paradanasha, Asrayanasha, Sambandhi Nasha, Karana Nasha. Sotanasha is dying itself without any cause. Self is the cause, no support. So cause for something else. Self is support for something else, but not for by itself. Atma cannot die itself. Why? It is avinashi. So why nir-avayavatvad? Why it cannot die? Because it's nir-avayavatvad. Avayava is parts. Assemblage of parts, sankhad. Sankhad of parts is called avayava. When avayava is destroyed, that individual is destroyed. Atma is a combination of other things put together. If that is put together, what happens is anything is gone, the part is gone, that is still considered is destroyed over a period of time. Then this thing over a period of time goes through decay. These 6 modifications are there. For Sharira, there are 6 types of modifications. What are they? Asti, Jayade, Vardade, Vivaridamane, Apakshiyade, and Vinashadi. This happens to everybody. Asti, it is there. We are there. Jayade is born. Vardade, it grows up because it's a body. Vivaridamane, it changes every time. In every 8 years, the cells of the body changes. Apakshiyade, and it decays. And Vinashati, and you die. This is the prakriya of human body from the beginning, from time immemorial. And what is this is about Sotanasha. In the Paradanasha means destroyed something else. No Parada. In Atma, what happened? There is no Parada. There is no other. There is only Atma. So if second is also there, then second is also Atma, then is trying to destroy that one, then one and the same thing cannot become Karta and Karma. That is another problem. Other than Atma, there is nothing. We know that. Example is, the example given for Paradanasha is trying to sit your own shoulder. Can you sit on your own shoulder? No, because you yourself cannot lift. And if you yourself you cannot lift, means you yourself are the one is sitting also. How it can be? It cannot. It's not possible. So Paradanasha is absolutely ruled out, not applicable in the case of Atma. And Ashraya Nasha, destroy something which is a support, which you are depending on. What is the Ashraya of Atma? What is Ashraya of Atma? We are Ashraya of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is our Ashraya, but Atma, the self, is not Ashraya of anything. Non-dependent of anything. Anashrayatvad. In fact, everything uses Atma as Ashraya. Take ourselves, for example. Human being. What is the Ashraya? Food. Has to be. Food is our Ashraya. Water is our Ashraya. Air, which we breathe, is our Ashraya. We depend upon these things. So if you cut any of this, death is imminent. Guruji one time said that without water, without food, how long you can give? How long you can live? Since maybe some days, Then there is this fasting and all. So many people fasting for some certain goals and all. So many days they eat without food. But after some time, body has to give up. Body will die. Okay. What about water? Without water, again shorten the days. Again shorten. Without water, it's not possible for bodies to exist. That is one of the dependencies. Without air. Without air, again it shrinked. It comes to minutes, not even hours. Even within few, somebody can hold for some more time, but it's still minutes. Few minutes. All this food, air, water, everything bring down because we are dependent on it. And Guruji says, without thinking, forever. Man can live without thinking forever, lifelong. You don't have to be genius to think. So he says that thinking is not a necessary item. We are not depending on that. Because again, he made fun of the people who was not thinking that way. Anyway, again, the next one is Sambandhanasha. What is Sambandhi? Asangatvad Sambandhi. No Sangha. Where is Sambandhi? No Dravya Sambandha. No Guna Sambandha. No Kriya Sambandha. When there is attachment, where is then the relationship is built up on this, all this, it will, make somebody down. Like example is given, like Dronacharya and Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama is favorite son. Dronacharya will give anything to Ashwatthama. And the moment he heard Ashwatthama Vadaha Kunjaraha and Ashwatthama died, and he especially said that. He said, if Yudhishthira says, I will believe. Nobody else. Because he know all others are crook and they will tell lie. And Yudhishthira will not tell lie. And they came to know that Yudhishthira tells, he will believe, he will put down the arms. And Yudhishthira said, and they, for that sake, they made an elephant named Ashwatthama. And that elephant died, killed. And when this when Yudhishthira was telling this, they made all kind of noises, drum and horn and everything, and that sound, Vadaha Kunyaraha, was not heard to Dronacharya. Only he heard Ashwatthama. And there he died. I mean, he didn't die. He put that arms down. And that is the time Pandavas attacked Dronacharya. And this is a story. But this is Sambandha Nasha. Sambandha. When Sambandha is there, you know, and Sambandha, but because see this Pandavas, they could not do anything to Drona. And Sambandha Nasha is the only one. So they caught hold of that one. And also in the human life, what happens is some for some position or some for money, or money in the bank, money in the stock, especially now the situation is money gone. Oh my God, money gone. Attachment or position. So what it says is Sambandhi Nasha. Don't get attached to power, position, and all these money things. It will pull you down. Anything we depend upon, it will bring you down. Karana Nasha. Here comes Karana, cause. The cause and effect is coming. When cause is destroyed, effect is destroyed. What is the Karanam for Atma? For Atma, there is no Karanam. It is since the beginning, all alone, one and the same. So, hence it cannot be destroyed. Karinashat. Destroy the effect, cause effect gets affected when effect is destroyed. Example is told, banana trees, plantain farm. And once the fruit is given, you must get rid of the whole farm to have fresh ones to come up. So Atma does not come in any of the 6 combination or 6 categories of destruction. And mighty Ishvara, the Lord Parameshwara, the Paramatma, cannot destroy Atma because it is his own self. So the good news is that we are all the time there. We are there from the beginning and we will be there at the end. Remember I told you a concept which we all have. In generally, not only Vedantins, I mean, all those you who travel in spiritual path have this feeling. What is this feeling? The world was there. I came. I am gone. Gone in the sense when I die. Okay. I came. I am gone. And the world exists. This is the belief. It is a mithya. This belief is utterly wrong. Because how I came to know that this is wrong. Intellectually, we know. In the Vedanta course, it was clearly mentioned. This is the belief everyone has. And what is the actual thing? Actual sentence is something very different. Very, very interesting also. It says, I was there. The world came. The world gone. And I am there. This is the right sentence. I was there. The world came. The world gone. And I am still there. So that's what he says. I am still there. I still there cannot be destroyed. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tadam vinasham avyasya nakaschit kartumahasi. No destruction ever possible for this Atma, for this self. Why? The world is a concept of my mind. It came and it's gone. The world is nothing but a thought in my mind. And every day this happens. In deep sleep, there is no world. There is no aham. No aham bhava. And there is no aham, this world is not there. You are experiencing this every day. Anyway, we saw that from Einstein's theory that everything is changing. The only part which is not changing, it is only that far Einstein science can go. Why? Because Einstein is an objective scientist. Objective means whatever being observed, not itra chakshushana chakshusha pashyati. That sees, I sees, which is the power in which I see things. That is not taken into consideration during his science of studies. Objective science will stand at a point, at the level of intellect. And that's what Vedanta starts from there. It goes a step higher, it goes beyond. What is the power for us to think? What is the power for the intellect to make you think? That study is Vedanta study. And that findings we appreciate. Vedantins appreciate, which is a good for mankind. But we ask, who is this experiencer? Who is this analyzer? Who is this inquirer? Who is searching for knowledge? Who is this analyst doing this work? That consciousness in which the conclusion level, the intellectual level, emotional level, and mind, all these levels, what is that thing working through me? And to that, I prostrate, I surrender. And that's what is Brahman is. The illuminator is always something other than what is illumined. The sunlight illumines the world, we know that. Early morning sun rises. There is no part of the world which is not lit. Consciousness is that light from which all the body, mind, intellect, perceiver, feeler, thinker, all this taking place. And contacting is the world, is their job. Sense organs, through sense organs, we contact the world outside. Our experience are illumined by that power in me, in each one of us, which is giving that power to contact the world for transactional purposes. And that is what it is. That Sat Vastu. So it says, Avinashidu Tadvidhi, indestructible. Yena sarvamidam tadam. Vinasham avyashasya na kaschit kartumarhasi. Without which, Gurudev says, without which you will be taken to funeral home. Why? Because body is dead, not functioning. Now, if you bring a box, if you are alive, if you bring a box, you will say, you will protest. You will not say, go in there. No, not going there. Let's do it now. When the family people are present here, let's do it now. It will be fun. He will not agree to that. And that will not happen. For fun's sake, Gurudev is telling for joke's sake only. And what is pervasiveness? It's all pervaded, it said. He says, take salt and water. Put the water and put the salt in it. And we say that salt melts and pervades all the water inside the glass. So the pervasiveness of the salt has two different things. Mutually exclusive. Paramatma pervading the Jagat. Paramatma is different. Jagat is different. So some kind Vyapya Vyapaka Sambandha. Pervasiveness, pervaded. Both are independent entity. And it's like Rajju Sarpa's example, Vedanta, very famous. The rope and the snake. But this is not a good idea. Because some people say this is a stupid idea. Maybe only for Hindus. Because you believe in these Vedas, okay, fine. We are Christians or we are Muslims or whatever. We don't do such. We don't have such things. So Gurudev says to them, to those people who oppose it like this, to Gurudev says, oh, you are Muslims and Christians. So you are alive? Oh, you are breathing? Yes. When you die, so you leave your body here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Whether you are white or black or brown or whatever color, the religion, the shape and form and beliefs and all this, it is superficial. It's all attributes. It's not the reality. Outer coverings. And the touch of it, Gurudev says, the touch of life, in the spark of life, this is his favorite word, is the spark of life in each and every one of us, living entity, is that supreme, that self, that Paramatma, that Narayana. Huh? And that Lord is all us is same. And it enlivens everything, every of our experiences, whether good or bad or indifferent, doesn't matter. This famous example of the sea and waves are taken. The sea is permanent, the waves are temporary, pervades small waves, big waves with big volume of this one, more ripples, more forms, bubbles, whether it is all these Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, all these kind of religions, every person says, there are some people who say there is no God, what Bhagavan, no Bhagavan. He's even telling that because of grace of the God. Even he's uttering that words, no God, is because of the grace of the God. That is the beauty of this. And why? Simple thing. He's talking. The ability to talk in him is also Bhagavan. That is not realizing. He's telling it's a different entity outside of him. Which people are worshipping, which people are crazy. You are going to church or mosque or you are going to temple because you are worshipping a different entity. No. What is inside us, we cannot see. The sense organs cannot even touch, smell, hear, taste something. So we have attributed an idol. Ideal behind the idol is what we are worshipping, not that particular stone or shape or something. That you have to understand, you have to cognize that. So this says that, oh, Swamiji, I thought matter and come to conclusion that there is no God. Who concluded? I did. How did we know? I know. That knowledge in you is God. That's what Gurudev says. You cannot deny that. If you deny, you are denying your own existence. How can a wave say that I have nothing to do with the ocean? It is like telling I have nothing to do with the ocean. I am just independent by myself. I raise myself. I stay in the air for myself and I die by myself. And there is no connection with the ocean. It's just like telling that. You are standing in this, you came as an entity, as a human being, and you grew up, asti jayade vardate, all these effects are there, and you die. And you still say that there is no God. In telling that itself, you are negating your own existence. You don't exist. And with that, we'll go to next verse. Next few verses are all the theory that this deha and what is this body, what happens when we die is slowly coming. And end of chapter 2 is very beautiful. Siddha Prajna Lakshana is there. And we will chant that. Antavanta ime deha nityashokta saririnaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yuddhyasva swabharata tasmad yuddhyasva bharata antavanta ime deha. Anta meaning end, we know that. Ime, these deha, bodies, nityasa uktaha. And it is said they have an end. It is said that the bodies of the embodied self, the self is eternal, indestructible, incomprehensible. Tasmad, therefore what? Yuddhasva bharata. Therefore get up and fight. And that is what is the last line, instruction. So we learned that individuality is constantly there. From the last two to three verses, we know that the self cannot be destroyed. The wrappings around it could be permanent. It cannot be permanent. Wrappings is temporary attributes. So the essence cannot be destroyed. Infinite consciousness disturbed by the M and I is the world of plurality. The people will see, the object we see is nothing but disturbance in the M and I, total M and I. This is why in deep sleep, the world of plurality is folded. Gurudev says another example, why deep sleep there is no objects. So when the mind is happy, the world you experience is happy. When your mind is weeping, your world, which you experience, is weeping. Narayana, the Lord, the Almighty, if there is a disturbance, the world of plurality appears. The world appears when there is a disturbance in the consciousness. That's what Gurudev's words are, exactly the same. And because when you see the disturbances, when you see the agitation, you don't see Narayana. You don't see the Lord because you see the world. And especially in the time of the lockdown, we think, why? What it is? How it came? We don't know. This is His call. Thy will be done. Not I, my wish. Not that whatever I wish is the way it should go. The world should go in the way I wish. Then everything will be dandy and fine and dandy. And every time I'll be smiling and happy. It cannot be. Happiness and dukkha and sukha is a package, which I already told in the previous classes. It comes as a package. It comes as prarabdha. Our prarabdha will come to us no matter what. And this consciousness, this disturbance in the realm, in the total realm, is what this world is. You can find it's nothing but projection of the mind. This entire world of plurality is only the projection of mind. So in this one, the world, some names and forms all the realm of time, because time has to end. Because whatever we experience today, or whatever we experience in the past, and whatever we experience in the future, everything is one thing is sure, is everything is in the realm of time. Because it has to have an end, it has to have a beginning, it has to have a madhyam. In the center, Adi, Madhyam, Anta. These three stages is everything, every experience has. We cannot get away from this. The only thing to get away from this one is get out of time. How you get out of time is realize that supreme within us. Find out who you really are. When you find that out, time stands still. Because time is born with that, avidya. With avidya only the time was born. Because the time has to end when you go cross over Maya. I remember a cartoon, very nice cartoon. There is a river, and there are two monks, Buddhist monks. The dress is like Buddhist, walking on the other side of the bank. And this side of the bank, there is one man standing, and he's looking for something, boat or some nauka, something to cross. Nothing he could find. He shouted, Swamiji! So they looked, yes, where the sound is coming from. There is a gentleman on the other side. How to get on the other side? He shouted. They looked. One of them said, you are already on the other side. That is a good answer. It is correct also. You are already on the other side, which means two meanings. What are the two meanings? One meaning is already on the other side of the bank. The other meaning is he want to get across the river. He want to get where the sadhus are walking, which means he want to find out the truth in himself. Which the Swamiji answer was what? You are already on that side, which means you are already that, what you are looking for. That's why he said there are two meanings. Very nice cartoon. I don't know who drawn that. Very nice. It was explained. He said, "You are already that what you are looking for? How I don't know? Because my ignorance." How the ignorance started? It says, Shastra says it is anadi, from the beginning. From the beginning itself. Instead of going how it happened, when it happened, what did I do to do this life? What did I do to this have this experience? Instead of looking for the cause, look what I can do from now on. That will be easier way to turn my attention to the higher. All the teachings, either through Shastras or through our lineage, our Guru Parampara, is to know that you are nothing but the Supreme and try to realize your true nature. You will forget all these temporary attributes and all these sorrows, dukkha, we face issues, concerns, problems, and riddles, all these things. How there should be an end. Shankara says whatever Bhagavan said is correct. He's a lawyer for Bhagavan. Bhagavan does not need anyone, but Manda Buddhis like us. We need elaborate interpretation because we need stories, we need jokes, we need cartoons to understand all this. And someone said to Gurudev, everything is in the book. Guruji, so including examples are given in the book. So why you need a guru? Gurudev said, very good question. Why don't you ask the question to your book? That was his answer. Another Swamiji, they asked question to another Swamiji. He said, another Mahatma came. So, Swamiji, everything is given in the book and Shastras, and there, all the questions and answers and doubts, everything is explained there. Why you need a guru? Mahatma said, you want me to answer that question? He didn't say further. That itself contains the answer is we need a guru. We need a guru to show that path where it is, where to reach, how to reach. So this one, Nashaha, death. Nityatva is of two types. Nasha also two types, two Nashas. One is death. Once the body is gone, destroyed, it becomes Adarsanam, meaning not Drishya, not able to see. Sushma Sharira, we cannot see. We know that because the sense organs are not able to see the Sushma Sharira. So secondly, somebody gets seriously sick, like terminal disease and all. That person looks different, totally gone. And others also is so almost dying. Sometimes people say, get cancer, chemo, all these things will bring down the flesh to such a type to bring down shrink. And this changing all these are attributes. Atma does not have any of these nashas. Changing Kudastha Nitya and Parinami Nitya, there are two types again. Is again the word game. Word game. So it says that this incomprehensible, this truth is incomprehensible. And the word for used is aprameya, no prameya. This prameya, pramana, and prama, these three things we will explain in detail in the next class. Today the time is up, so we will stop right here. And also we will see the next words also. And this half explained only this sloka, but not Antavanta me deha nityashokta sharirina, not fully explained. Anashina aprameya sya tasmat yuddhasva bharata is get Arjuna asking to get up and fight. We will stop here. We will do the next class next Saturday. See you then. We'll do the concluding mantras. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। हरि ओम. Thank you very much everybody for taking part. Please stay home, safe, and pray to Bhagavan. This is the best time Bhagavan has given us to pray. Make use of that time. Hari Om. Thank you.